Episode 224 Above Ground Podcast. If not now, when?
Disclaimer. The hosts of this podcast, Timothy Patrick and Will Foley, are by no means medical professionals. However, having lived experience with mental illness themselves, they have gained useful perspectives on common mental health issues that some of us struggle to overcome on a daily basis. By sharing their stories, they hope to create connection. By creating connection, they hope to help you find your purpose. And through purpose, we can all begin to build the foundation for positive mental health. This is Above Ground Podcast.
Coming at you live with real conversations about mental health from the perspective. It's time for Above Ground Podcast. Now your hosts, TPP and Will Foley. Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to
Above Ground Podcast.
Above Ground Podcast. Because you cannot serve below.
No, you cannot.
No, you cannot, TPP. Are you down with TPP?
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah? Well, are you down with fear?
No.
Do you smell fear?
I smell what Will's cooking.
You smell what the Will's cooking. What he ate, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, fear is, I think, has some negative connotations, but it also could be a driving force.
Everyone fears something, right?
Right, but it could, but you could. I'm saying, what if you fear being stagnant or fear being left behind? That could drive you to do something helpful, and have a voice.
That's right. And it can hold you in place like an anchor that you can't shake.
Right.
Which is the negative side of it, which, here we go again. Wow, there's those polls. Like every episode for the last month has been about polls, man.
Telling you something.
But it is, because the thing is fear. Fear couldn't be good. Shit, fear in the water. Shit, you think you see a fin, you're going to swim your ass
right. That's what
fast
I mean.
as
Right.
back.
Yes, your adrenaline's going to go.
However, fear can hold you.
Right.
You can freeze. And
that's why maybe, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't say overcoming fear. Maybe we should say facing fear.
Yeah, living with fear, maybe?
Facing fear. Facing it.
Okay.
Facing it
fear.
head on. Like, stand up.
Like faces of death. Faces of fear.
Okay. That was a bit much, but
we'll
go with that. No, facing fear and doing it even though you're nervous or scared or worried or whatever it is, push that hurt and those past experiences aside and face it head on.
My acronym for fear is a fraudulent, emotional, antiquated reaction. Because fear is really based on reactions to things of stories we tell ourselves, I think, a lot of times.
Yes.
Because a lot of our fears are really...
I think that's dead
like
on.
fearing the monster under the bed. It's a natural fear. So many kids experience that. Even grown-ups experience that. But why do they experience it? You experience it differently as a child, I think, depending on your life than you do later.
Yeah, but
fear covers everything, because when you're grown up, maybe you fear talking in front of people, because the biggest fear of everyone is public speaking.
Is it?
Yes, that's been the number one fear for many years. Yeah, public speaking. Now, it may not be in 2023 because you've got a plethora of people who have no problem opening their big mouths these days. So maybe that's not the biggest fear anymore, but it was the biggest fear for most people for years, and everybody would say it. It's not drowning, it's not dying in fire or car accident, it's public speaking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Which is...
But, again, going back to what you were saying, I think fear can sort of be like a state of mind in a way, and it's your thoughts and judgments that you're putting on. Like, if I'm I can't stand up and speak of that. That's tough for me. But as I'm thinking about it, like, what is it? And then you stop and go, what is it that I'm feeling? Why am I feeling this? What am I feeling? And then it's so you push all that shit aside and you're like, oh, there's a cute little puppy and I have nothing to be scared of. And then you stand up and you just face fear and you're like, the only thing that I was fearing was my thoughts and shit that I put on this. Like, that could not even be true. Like, oh, I can't speak in public. My voice sounds shitty, and I look funny. Okay.
It's the stories we tell ourselves.
Going back to that, man. Like,
right.
I mean, but that's why I think too, fear could, if you're in the right mindset, I think fear can also be like fuel.
It can. It can help you get out of your boxes.
Right.
Like, you can overcome fears. Like, I've actually started to learn this in myself recently, that there's some fears that I've had that aren't necessarily real, but I've made them real, and I've started to get over them. And I've had varying degrees of success to prove to me that I've been wrong. And I'm grateful for that, because...
I'm going to actually go back to one of my favorite books, because there's two of the 4 agreements that could really, I think, be helpful, and it's related to fear. I think the 4 Agreements is one of my favorite books. But anyways, don't make assumptions is one of the agreements. So if you find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want, communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, you could kind of transform that situation,
Absolutely.
You could rearrange things. But so I think by not making assumptions, and that goes for ourselves, right? Don't make assumptions on yourself. Then you might have a better chance of facing the fear and overcoming the fear.
Those are the biggest assumptions we make, though, I think.
What's
I
that?
think we
To
make
ourselves?
the biggest assumptions ourselves. Because they're always our own self-assumptions. We're assuming something about someone else, or we're assuming it about ourselves.
I see what you're saying.
But
okay.
we're really always assuming it about ourselves, because in reality, the things we're picking out of other people are really just reflections of stuff that we're looking at.
Right.
So, in reality...
The other agreement I think goes with this would be always do your best. And your best is going to change from moment to moment, depending on if you're sick, healthy, and even go with your thoughts. If you've had a good day, if your thoughts are kind of racing and you're ruminating more unhelpful thoughts, then your best is going to be a little bit lower than if you were thinking more positive thoughts, and maybe you got that glazed donut that you've been wanting to eat in the morning, and now you're in a better mood or something like that. But by saying that to yourself, like, I'm just going to stand up and do this, public speaking event, and I'm just going to do my best and say that and try and believe it. I think that will help you not only face the fear again, but overcome it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The Buddha actually says, in Buddhist terminology, that fear arises from a mistaken apprehension of reality.
Yeah.
So our fears are really based in this alternate thought of what reality is. So we're not really seeing everything. Now, that goes back, though, to the trauma mind versus the reasonable mind, because you start thinking about those things. And are these things that you were told? Are these things you were taught? Like, these things that you're dealing with? Like, when you start to think about these irrational fears. Like, I used to have an irrational fear of snakes.
Right.
Now, it wasn't irrational to me because I had an experience where...
Well, to me, if you've had trauma or something
Right.
like that around that, then it's very real to you.
But it wasn't a traumatic event. Like, when I really look at trauma now through a different lens, it was more of my own irrational thought about what could happen. Because it's always about waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
So you're always looking at it for the next thing to happen. But it's that fear. We experience fear because we cling to things.
Oh, yes.
And we're so afraid of what's going to unfold, and we're so afraid of just letting go to the unfolding that we hold ourselves in these spots.
Yep. I think for me, it's trying to, again, be mindful and stay in that moment, and ask yourself the questions, like triage things. Which pain am I willing to deal with? Choose your pain. If I'm in this moment, is regret a worse pain than embarrassment? And if so, then okay, maybe back off. But if it's not, then stand up and do it. right? If you don't go after what you want, you forfeit the right to complain about it when it's gone. Like, you need to get up and have a voice and speak, and you know.
But what do you think causes us to ruminate on those things, on those regrets, on those impulses? Like, what do you think causes someone to get snapped into that frequency and not be able to break it?
I think it could possibly be a coping skill that you developed from childhood.
Oh, as sort of a distraction from something worse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to keep your options open, sort of.
Right, like trying to keep the peace, trying to play the peacemaker, trying to play the fixer, the adult in the room.
Right.
When you don't even know what the hell that is.
No.
And you don't even know how to do it, and it's been all wrong, and you had no control over it at all. That's the hard part for me. All that shit that I internalized that actually has nothing to do with me. It affected me, but it had nothing to do with me. And I carried it around.
I know.
And it's like...
How freeing is it, though, to let it go when you can?
Well, as I've worked on letting it go,
Yeah.
it's become more freeing. I definitely feel more free. And I definitely feel more free than I have in years now. Because I have the wisdom. I've integrated some of that wisdom. I'm integrating more of it.
That's what it's about, man.
And I love what I'm doing.
Perfect. I mean, that's what it's about. You know, we've talked about it just a little while ago. It's like, yeah, I read a couple books, or yeah, I watched a TED Talk, but until you can grasp these ideas and put them into action, like nothing's going to change unless you make that choice to change.
There's no wisdom without overcoming fear.
Ooh, is that yours?
Yeah, just kind of.
I think that's a very poignant statement. Will.
Yeah, it just kind of came as we were talking, because in reality, if you don't get over your fear, like I had a fear, maybe my learning, maybe I didn't want to go to school because I was afraid I was going to fail. Originally, I put this idea in my head that I want.
The fear of failure.
The fear of failure keeps me from doing stuff, or the fear of being seen in reality as being less than. Because that's what people fear, is really being seen and being misinterpreted and misread.
So that's why I think your original statement of that, your definition of fear, is
the fraudulent, emotional,
it's pretty accurate,
reaction.
dude. It's pretty spot on. Because think about it, as we're talking about these fears, it's like they're kind of like made up. They're assumptions that we've made up,
right? And
they're judgments on whatever we're about to face, whatever we're about to do. And we tell ourselves, well, I can't do this. You know? I even said that before the book. I was like, I can't write a book. Who the hell am I to put out a book? I said that a couple times to myself. And that's when I was like,
that's why you had to do it.
That's why I had to do it. You're absolutely right.
Just to prove yourself?
That's exactly right. I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done with these gremlins. So it kind of fits with this. Like, I'm done with these gremlins. I'm going to overcome this fear of the gremlins, or fear of just staying stagnant, fear of not moving down the river with the water, and do it and show and just to stand up, and even for myself, just be like, yeah, you know what? I did it. Great. Like, cool. Now I did it.
You just actually, like, boom, hit me. Like, literally between the eyes with this.
I didn't, folks. I didn't hit him.
No, he really didn't hit me, but this hit me. this idea hit me between the eyes.
What do you got, bud?
Because I used to say that I had nothing to prove. I have nothing to prove to anybody except for myself. And one of my biggest fears is probably proving myself wrong, that I don't have the ability to do what I think I can do. And that keeps me stuck.
You're say that again. Your fear.
Like, I have a fear of, it's almost like a success fear, but it's a fear of failure wrapped in a.
So you're saying, like I fear I can't do this, but then I also fear if I do this and don't do it, it's going to spotlight that fear.
Yes. Yeah, it's almost like fear gets a refractory back to itself.
Dude, you got like fear squared.
Right. That's
what the fuck are you doing?
Right? Like that's kind of like it was just I was just sitting here and I'm going, wait a second. You know, maybe my procrastination is actually fear, but it's what is it fear of? Is it fear of success or fear of failure, or is it really both? Because either one, you don't know.
You're aware of it, though, and you're kind
of... Well, I just became aware of this. Like, I just actually really sat here for a second.
Well, that's what I think that's what it takes. You have to, again, like, sit down and triage things and figure out which... There's all pains. There's all these pains of life. Like, am I going to deal with the pain of not having this new car? Am I going to deal with the pain of regret? Am I going to deal with the pain of getting what I want and then realizing it's not what I want? You know, figuring out which pain you're able to work with, which one you're able to deal with.
I'll tell you the truth. That was a big part of my problem when I went to work for the post office. Because it was something I thought I wanted. And when I realized how shitty I fucking felt and knew I couldn't and realized I was fucked because I left myself no other options. And how could you say no? Because, I mean, to be honest with you, let's be honest. If it wasn't for my accident and needing to have surgery, I'd still be there. If I was alive and if I wasn't an alcoholic.
Right.
Because I was headed on either one of those roads. I was. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Even me, and I was pretty ignorant to this stuff back then. I knew I had anxiety and dealt with stuff, but to see it at some of your level was like, I didn't fully understand it.
No, because it was irrational. A lot of it. I couldn't hold my shit together. I was having.
But irrational or not,
I was coming apart.
Then...
I was coming apart at the seams. I really was. I was held together with fucking duct tape, like that. And truthfully, like when I think about it, I was taking on water. Like I was spouting everywhere. Now, I mean, it's been interesting that over the course of the conversations that some of these things kind of. Now that I've had enough space ahead between, and we didn't mention this during September because we just got through a really heavy month. September is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month, and that has been a heavy month for us ever since we started this podcast. And the fear, and I don't even know where I was going with that idea because now I just kind of brain farted. I don't even know what the hell I was talking about now because that.
Did it relate to work or anything like that?
I don't know. It was. I don't know because we were talking about fears and stuff, and then I was like,
and I thought a couple of the insights. I was like waiting by the fire with like a mushroom or a marshmallow.
No, because I've had those couple of insights, and now I'm kind of. I think I might have shot my wad, man.
That's all right. Pew pew pew. Yeah, I mean, but that's how it's done with the insights. You know, I think. You know, we move forward. We have eyes in the front of our head for a reason. But that doesn't mean we can't go back and go, let me just grab some of this data and see why I did this, see what happened, you know? And then go take what you need and leave the rest behind you. And we keep moving forward.
Curiosity slays fear. Be curious. Be curious about.
I guess it could.
Be curious about why you're scared of something, but be curious about doing it and seeing what the outcome could be. And I'm not talking about irrational things, okay? I'm talking about just those basic things that you have feared.
I'm gonna say I would use fear against itself.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Use fear against itself.
Yeah, because again, like, let's say like. You want this gig, okay? This is a very important gig, and you're like, I fear that I won't get it. And then you start telling yourself more stuff. I fear that, I won't. And then all of a sudden, you know what? You're like, screw this fear. I'm going to just do it and turn the fear around.
And that could change it. That could change it for the positive.
Right.
But I'm going to go one better and say, if you are going to try to do that, then put the positive thought out there too. Yeah. Don't put the negative thought out there first about being scared of something. What I would do, my suggestion is, if you're thinking about this and you're journaling or whatever, is to think about what you're fearing. And then to just kind of think about what happens. Think about the afterthought of when you overcome the fear. Get that feeling tone. Attune your body to that feeling tone. Because when you feel that tone of having gotten through or over that fear, you can actually start to see ways to get over that fear. I was having a really hard time when my daughter was first born. I noticed, and I've had this recently insight during some stuff that I've thought about, because I've kind of gotten over the fear of drowning in a way, in a lot of ways. But I noticed when my daughter was first born, I had this irrational thought that I was going to have to someday jump into a pool to save her, and I might not be able to.
I was thinking that you were going to say that.
And I will tell you this, it almost broke me down in tears one night so bad. I was having such bad anxiety about it. But the truth is that what I've realized is that adrenaline, we are far capable of more things than we ever give ourselves the grace and credit to do. So we may think we would freeze up. We may think we would do something, but you may just surprise yourself.
Yeah, so it's maybe you're right. Maybe curiosity will give you that push.
Maybe curiosity at least opens the possibility. And it's the opening the possibility that allows you to maybe think about the fear slightly off key.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's a good one. Because it kind of goes a little bit like with what I was saying, like if you can use the fear against itself, like I fear, not doing this, but then at the same time, I fear not doing that more.
All right, and why?
And why?
There's the curiosity.
Right,
why do I fear this? Like,
that's what I mean.
Why has this been such a sticking point for me? And then, a lot of it comes down to, are you afraid to ask for what you really want?
Sure.
Or are you afraid that you might get what you really want? Or are you afraid you're clinging to the outcome, and which is the driving nail of fear into your coffin. It's going to just drive you in, man. That's like so clinging, like the Buddha said, you can't, clinging is the hardest thing. We cling to everything we want.
But I think what you said really, it's no expectation, but you definitely don't want to place expectation on an outcome. That's huge.
The huge thing. And it's taken me a long time to get over that.
What do you mean?
Because I've realized I've always placed it on the outcome. In a lot of parts of my life, it was always about the outcome.
Is that like
it's a survival? It's a survival mechanism. It's not a. It's a sense of control in the fact that it's a survival mechanism for me.
I know what you're saying.
Yes, it stems from the fact that I never felt control as a kid. It's that fear of losing something, I guess.
Well, I think, but if you feel like you have some control over it, then you won't lose something.
Right, I do now, but I didn't.
Right,
It's always that waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right.
And I'm slowly learning in my body now that I'm not waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the other ass to drop.
Jesus. No, but are you serious about it? You're not, that like you've noticed
I've noticed in certain aspects I've gotten better at it. I've gotten better at it.
That's good, though.
I'm starting.
I mean, that's how. It's
a start.
It is, but that's by even if you do it once. I mean,
but if I did it once, I can do it again.
Right, and that
just like everything else that you fear. If you do it once, you do have to go back and do it again. Okay, I mean, granted, if you have a fear of heights and your idea of overcoming that fear is going on a bungee jump, okay, that's a good way to do that in a controlled manner, where probably 99.5% of the time you're going to be safe, right? But that's a good way to get over that irrational fear and really put yourself in it and really feel that. That is one of the healthiest ways to get over that fear. But how do you get over the fear of asking for love? How do you get over the fear of asking, your partner to sit down and listen to you? How do you sit down and how do you ask for your boss? How do you ask your boss for a raise at work if you feel you're really worthy of it? Like, how do you get over those fears? That's the curiosity you need. Why do you feel you're not worthy of the things that you fear?
It's deep.
Like, why do you feel you're not worthy of the things that you fear? Why is it that you're not worthy of getting that promotion or finding that partner or picking up the snake? It was a snake that fucking haunted me for years for no reason.
Well, I think, and going back to what you said, getting curious, not just with the snake, but getting curious with the thoughts. Why? Why am I having these thoughts? Chase them. Chase the thoughts and figure out, connect the dots. Connect the dots and they'll lead you back to something and then you can figure it out. Because, if you're just, I'm worried of snakes, well, but why? Like, there's something else there, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you get bit? Did you, so I don't know. And maybe like some exposure therapy might help, like get a snake and,
That's what I did.
You did?
Yeah, I don't have a snake, but I've actually put snakes around me at like school fairs and like I go up to them. Oh yeah, it's cool. They're really. I mean, to tell you the truth, as someone who really tries to not kill an insect and things, like I kid you not, like this morning I had to kill a beetle, and I felt terrible because I really tried to get this beetle out of the friggin' laundry room. But the beetle doesn't understand that, so I wound up crushing its ass in the corner. And I apologize to this beetle because it was not my intent to kill this thing. But bugs can't live in my house. I have that rule. You gotta go. I stay. You go.
Yeah, see? And that's like, you gotta overcome, you gotta choose that pain. Which fear? You want a bug in your house or do you want to kill a bug? And the fear of having a bug in your house is more than killing a bug, so you go with that, and it's, you know what I mean? I think that's a good way to, like I said, triage things and figure things out, get curious and go, well, what am I able to live with? I mean, we've said it before, it's like, this is your vessel, you control it, you are the captain of your ship, you can steer it in the direction that you choose. Hopefully you think about the path that you choose, hopefully you can connect some dots, or maybe you have your blueprints handy and you can kind of look at them because, blueprints can help. You can't go on a vacation. You can't go on a destination that you want to go on using somebody else's blueprints. They have to be yours. Right?
Get curious.
Get curious.
Chase the treasure.
Treasure?
Chase the treasure.
Treasure?
Treasure?
Treasure. Searching for treasure.
Searching for treasure.
Yeah, chase the treasure. That's a good one. Yeah.
And connect.
X marks the spot.
X marks the spot, man. Connect the pattern, and you'll find the treasure. Like, it's all about getting curious, though. But you gotta ask yourself, why do I fear this?
And don't have expectations that treasure is going to be full of booty either.
No, there might not be any booty in it. It might be empty.
Right.
But that's the chance you take.
But the treasure itself is that
the journey. It's the journey, not the destination. Like, that is the biggest cliche in the world, but it's true because we lose sight of that so early in life sometimes.
Oh, we do. And I think again, you're focusing on the destination. You're focusing on
the outcome.
The
Because the destination is the outcome.
Right.
Where the journey is the curiosity and the learning.
We listen to music all the time, and how often do you put a song on and then fast forward it to the end? Right? You don't do that. We listen to the song.
We listen to the song. I hate when people skip around songs. Right. I hate it. It drives me nuts.
It's the journey. It's the song that you want and the song that brings you joy and the song that you're looking forward to. So make the journey yours.
That's right. I like it.
Pave the road yourself. Pave it the way you want. I mean, right? And that could be part of overcoming fear is sitting down, maybe journaling some things, thinking about what you want and what you don't want. You know, make some lists, adjust, and then put your plan in action.
Get curious, man.
Without a plan, there's no attack. Without an attack, there's no victory.
Ooh.
Sorry, I just got all Viking on your ass.
Yeah.
I watched Braveheart the other day.
Ah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Tonight, we died in hell. We got to watch 300.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't watched that in a while.
Yeah, me neither. I finally got Rise.
What is
DVD,
it?
The second one.
Oh, that
I
was
got
good.
on DVD. I
I
haven't
like
even
that.
watched it yet, though.
No?
No.
Did you ever see it before?
I saw parts
Oh,
of it.
okay.
I haven't seen the whole
I
thing.
thought it was good.
I heard it was good.
Eva Green is in it.
Yeah. I know.
On that note,
thank you again for
Yes.
listening to another week of Above Ground Podcast. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, hit the notifications.
leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
That's right. 5 stars. Nothing less.
Nothing
No, just
less.
Whatever. You know,
We'll find
just
you.
do it. We'll find you. We know you.
Share the episode if you think someone will dig it.
Tag us.
Tag us.
Share
Yeah,
the
you
episode
know?
and tag us. Just that's all we ask. Share, tag.
Say
you know,
hi.
say hi.
You know, we're just over here like drawing faces on paper, so we just would like somebody to say hi.
My stomach is gurgling over here.
Yeah, on that note,
Yeah, he's ready to he's ready to get out of here now. So until next week, get well.
be safe.
Stay
Above. Thank you for giving us a listen. New episodes every Wednesday. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, you can share, rate, review, and even subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Other ways to support the show: follow us on social media, share the content, share our episodes. You can also buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/abovegroundpod. For further concerns, show ideas, or just to say hi, you can email us at abovegroundpodcast@gmail. Once again, thank you for listening and supporting mental health. Keep the conversation going and stay above.